Mira, viejito, uy.
I can call that mind destruction.
Papi.
Hello everybody, this is Joby and it didn't start yet. Wait, oh it did. Whoops, fail. Hello everybody, this is Joby and videos on Jimmy Master Animatronics, and what I'm doing is finally another one of these discussion type videos. A lot of people say they like me doing these kind of videos. But this one, I'm going to be showing you 2 Spirit Halloween props that were in my store that had factory defects. That they weren't broken defects, they were actually like programming errors, um, or maybe like some of them mechanism errors, basically. So in 2012, my store had a Bonkers the Clown. If you don't remember what it was, a door knocker made by Techie Toys. It's a clown, and its eyes blink, it talks, and its eyes light up. Well, the one at my store, there was only one, and I swear this is probably the only one in the world with this. Its eyes open when its mouth opens. It's not supposed to be like that. The eyes are supposed to be programmed to blink at specific times, but this one, the eyes open when the mouth opens. So I know it's a factory defect, and I didn't get that one because I didn't realize back then that it was going to be something unusual. And also in 2014, my Spirit Halloween got a defect. Remember the bleeding lady bust from 2014? They got my store had like 4 or 6, I don't know, but only one of them had upper jaw movement. The rest had normal mouth movement. I bought both versions, the upper jaw, because I've never seen another one with upper jaw movement. And the reason I bought a normal one is because if I continued to use the upper jaw movement, guess what? The mouth's going to break, because that's what always happens with upper jaw movement props. So I'm going to be showing you exactly proof that this exists, because I recorded them. And yes, I own the upper jaw movement bleeding bust. It's in my storage unit. I would make a review showing it, but God only knows when I'm going to be able to find all that and actually have time to show them, because my schedule's starting to run pretty tight, so I'm not going to have as much time to make videos starting next month. So, and yeah, time is crammed enough the way it is. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I can't think of anything else. If there is, I'll just make another part, but for now, that's it. But I'm also going to be showing you some more Demonica, because the Demonica that was at the store display Demonica that was at my store, there was something odd about it. Remember how I said if it doesn't rise up and down, it will not move its head or do any movement whatsoever. It'll just sit there and light up its eyes. My store display wasn't like that. It moved its head without it rising. The first day my store opened, she was already not rising, and her head was still moving. And then later on that day, it was rising up, but it wouldn't go back down. And it still won't work if it does that. It has to rise up and down for the head to be able to work. And I don't know how that display Demonica the head was moving. I didn't take a look. I tried to get mine to do it. I couldn't figure out a way to make the head move. So all I know is that it's a programming issue, but a good programming issue. But that's how the Demonica should have been. That's why the 2010 Demonica is so faulty, because the cable that attaches to her neck that makes it lift puts a lot of strain on the motor, and the motor quickly dies after about 20 activations of constant going. That's why, again, I disable the sound sensors on those so that they're only timer activated. They hardly ever have issues when you have them running that way. Like I said, there's no way to make the 2010 Demonica's head move without it rising up and down. There's just no way. I had 3 2010 Demonicas. My first one's motor started giving out within 3 days of owning it. I exchanged it for another one. That one lasted until the summer of 2011. And then I finally got a third one in 2013 off eBay, and that's the one I've been having issues with the whole entire time. It's the one that I have to force all the time to make it work. Otherwise, it won't move. It'll just sit there. It doesn't even try to move most of the time. I've made several reviews. You can check it out. But like I said, if it doesn't rise, normally the head won't move or anything. The one at our store, I don't know how it was moving. And I don't know how like I said, I can only imagine that it was a programming issue, but a programming issue done right, because that's how they should have been. It shouldn't have been made to where it has to rise for the head to move. The 2011 one isn't like that, and that's why it's nowhere near as faulty. Same with the old hovering Ghost. If it doesn't rise all the way up, it won't continue to move. The newer model, they changed that. The older one moved so much more. Same with the old Demonica. The old Demonica moved so much more than the newer version. There's so many times they changed something, but yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna show you guys now. By the way, guys, Jack is on the call with me. If you want to say something, you can, Jack.
Alright, hey.
Anyways, starting off with Bonkers. Here's the one at the store I was talking.
Better.
Sorry, I don't know if my mic is recording the audio. Let me just make sure. Oh, what did I do? Just a minute. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure.
Friend, who would like to play
Okay, there it is.
with
I'll back up here. Alright, just pay close attention to the eyes.
Hello, friend. Who would like to play with my shiny
They're not supposed to be like that.
knife?
There is no other video on YouTube where they move like that. I mean, I like it better the way it was supposed to be because it's more unique, just blinking at random times. But that sure, I mean, Bonkers the Clown is a very valuable item now. It can go for a lot of money, but with a defect like that, and it's like I said, it's not broken. It's just a programming issue. It's a one of a kind. I mean, you could modify it. You could, if you owned one, you could just solder the wires to the mouth movement and it would do that. But they're not supposed to be that way. That was from factory, which makes it, I think, more unique because you don't usually see factory defective items like that. You can watch any other Bonkers the Clown videos with Bonkers in it, and you'll see that the eyes are not like that in any other video. That footage of Bonkers is in this video with the thumbnail with the howler. I'm sure I have other videos that it's in, but I have other videos where I show a different Bonkers and it's not like that. See, guys, here's another one. This could have been the one I bought. I don't really know which one I bought, but it's not like that. And it's not because it's a different phrase. The other one does it for both phrases, just whenever the mouth opens. Alright, guys, here's the video of when the bust was in stores. I got it in 2015, though. I don't think we sold any of them in 2014 because from what I know, I think we still had them all in 2015. And I bought them both when they were clearancing, I believe. I kept them in the back room. I put a bunch of stuff in the back. They did put a few things back out because I was originally supposed to get Face Off Baby Doll back then, but and the Spider book, the books where the spider comes out, but those two sold because someone put them back out. So yeah. Anyways, here we go.
I don't face off, baby doll. You have to
Oh yeah.
These are just days.
See?
Look no further. The horrors I've witnessed can never be unseen.
Like I said, I've never seen another one that has the upper jaw movement. All the rest of them in the store had the normal mouth movement. If any of you have seen another one, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that this was a mistake. And like you said, that is one that the mouth will end up breaking on if I used it. That's why I got two of them. That's why I got one with normal mouth movement, just so I could have that comparison. Because I know it's something that I wouldn't normally find if I didn't get that one. And again, it's not all the sayings, they're different. The mouth movement is different.
Another lost soul has wandered through. He's here. Oh, how they burn. Please, go no further. The horrors I witnessed can never
actually made a review of my normal mouth moving one that I have last year. No, actually, it might have been 2 years ago already, almost. Wait, where? A Wi-Fi, I guess. I don't know. But
What, it's unknown?
I don't remember. I just don't know. Also, guys, I picked one up and it fell over or like dropped, and its whole like top shattered because it's not plastic. It is actually kind of like a ceramic around the top part. Only the face is latex. So like they shattered easily. Yeah, it's a heavy
really weird. I would
bust.
have thought it would be like a hard plastic if it's not latex.
Yeah. And here's the video where I actually own it. It's on Halloween Robot Santa Guy, but I'm just gonna show you the whole video. Oops.
Time is ticking away. As the hours grow dark, so does your heart. Your last hour approaches.
The computer's so dumb. It won't enlarge, you know. Let me pause. It's locked up anyway. Whatever. There we go. Oh. What the heck? And before I go to the Demonica parts, there actually, I don't know if everyone knows this, but you know the little Rosie dolls that talk? I wanted to get them, but they got like lost in our shipment last year, so we never got them. But the thing is, they started making those in 2015, and in 2017, mid 2017 season, they changed the sayings, and I have a video showing it. I'll show that as well. I wanted to buy both.
They changed the phrases.
Yeah, I wanted to buy both versions because we still had many left, as well as the clown ones, and
Yeah, I have the original.
they got lost.
Like, red one.
And also in 2017, they made them a lot quieter because like I said at the beginning of the season, they still had the same sayings, even like the antique clown one. But in 2015 and 16, they were loud, but 2017 they made them really quiet and low pitch too, I believe. My possessed wall hanger has a different looking face. Like I've never seen another one that has that looking face. Like most of them usually look the same and have a certain look, but mine just looks so different compared to all the rest. Oh yeah, my zombie girl has broken fingers. Did I say zombie girl or I meant to say ghost girl, whatever.
What the heck?
Some of these items haven't been seen in years. Okay, here's the video where I show the Rosie dolls.
They changed the sayings on the Rosie doll.
The last person who held me died a horrible death. You disgust me. pretend that I don't exist, but I will persuade you otherwise.
Then this is the older one.
See?
So yeah.
I wonder if they changed the sayings on the blue one too. I guess not. And we hung her up there. Oh, and we finally got the swinging mechanism. But that's weird.
Alright, I'm gonna move on to the Demonica parts, but I would show you videos of where if she doesn't rise, she doesn't move at all, but if you've seen my Demonica videos, you'd know that, because I made a video comparing the 2010 and 2011 model, and she did fail a few times in there, and you can clearly see that, and she failed a few times in some of my reviews, so you don't, and I'm pretty sure most people know that anyways, but I guess I'll show a little bit of it anyways, but okay, here we go.
Because their heads click when they tilt and stuff, so yeah. Yeah, see, she's malfunctioning again. This is what I mean. And if she doesn't hit her relay, if she doesn't rise up or anything, her head will not move. She'll just do that. She was very, very, very faulty.
And it's not, the head isn't broken because obviously when it rises, it does move. But if they don't, like I said, if they don't rise all the way up and hit the relay switch, it won't move. See, like I said, I've had 3 2010 Demonicas, and they all failed in that same way, where if they didn't rise up, their heads would not move. That, like I said, my very first one started to have that issue after the 3rd day of owning it. My second one lasted almost a year, but not exactly, and it started having that same issue. And this one, well, this one's the most different because the other ones would rise up until it got to the part where the cable lifts the head. That's where the weak point was. But this one doesn't even try to lift sometimes. The motor doesn't even budge at all. Like I said, I have to physically force her up and then have her reset, and then she might. But sometimes it takes 5 times before she even tries to do anything. So it's very odd. I don't know why my Demonica has that issue. A lot of them do have that issue, but once they get that issue, there's no fixing it because I've tried every way possible and I couldn't get it working. And like I said, I just have no idea how my display one was moving its head with having the issues that it had. And I'm going to show you that right now. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention about our display one is that that the head you cannot get the head to tilt back without the cable being pulled on. The first day I went to our store, even when she wasn't all the way up, her head stayed up. I don't know how that's possible. I've looked inside the 2010 model. There is no way to make the head physically stay up like that. I don't know how. Again, I have no idea how our Demonica was so weird like that. It makes no sense, and I didn't observe it back then because I was worried about getting yelled at if I messed with the displays, so I just left it. But they wouldn't have cared because the workers were so nice back then, and yeah, I just wish I did take a look, but I didn't. Okay, so this is my very first video ever at a Spirit Halloween store, the very first one. This was the first footage of Demonica on my channel, and this was before she even tried to rise. She was just in the middle position, but in the third part, but this is an edited video where I combined all the first 3 clips together. By the third part, she was all the way up and she wouldn't go down at all. I could push her down and she would rise back up, but she wouldn't go back down. And here's what I mean, how her head still moved without her actually rising.
That one's broken. It doesn't go up and down. That one's not on. to keep going. Ugh.
And I know my recording wasn't the best back then.
I know.
You can
The
see that her
light's
head's
burning out. Done. I know, I have that one. Oh! This one's broken. I wonder why it's not going up and down. Must be the wire off.
That one was also
Whoa,
pretty
big
high
hands.
pitch.
I know, I'm spending lots of time over here, but this is the coolest spot. Ah! I'm gonna
Okay,
look
so
at
here's the
these.
part where she wouldn't go down, but you can.
See, she's staying up now. Now she's not going down.
You'll see in a second, guys.
Here's the flag one. These are from last year. These ones.
Okay.
I think this one has a timer. Oh, God. I think it's running dead. That's why it's not moving really. See, I pushed him down before, then he came right back up when he started.
Again,
See,
if
now it's
she
supposed
if
to be
she,
going down.
every time she
I'm helping them.
activates,
I'm
she
not
has
doing it
like
to break them.
you.
I'm just helping it.
Oh my god, why doesn't this pot? This is going so bad right now. Like you can have a Demonica all the way raised up and have her constantly hitting the relay switch, but it's only going to work for that activation. The next time she activates, she has to hit the relay switch again for it to actually move her head. That's what I mean. There's no possible way to make it move its head without it rising up and down each activation. I don't know how this one did that. Like I said, all I can say is that it was a defect in the programming, but it made it better in a way. I've never seen another Demonica that was like that.
This is there. Now it's all the way
And
down.
again, look at this. I pushed her down. Nothing's pulling on the cable that's holding her head back. And look, her head has stayed tilted back. There's no way to make it do that either. I tried it with all the ones I had. There was no way to make the head stay back like that if she wasn't all the way up. There's no way. I mean, unless you glue it, but it wasn't glued.
See, now it's coming back up, but then it won't go back down.
It just makes no sense.
The vampire!
Oh yeah, and the Lurching Vampire's pole broke on the 4th activation. They just set it up. And on the 4th activation, the pole snapped.
Yeah, he's $130 though.
Yeah, you don't have enough money for him today, do you?
I don't know how it broke so fast. I know the 2010 model was faulty, but
I bet the
I don't
other
think
one's
it was
gonna be
normal for the
gone
poles to break
then.
that quickly. But if you guys don't know, the
Oh, see?
2010 model of the
Size.
Vampire has a twist to lock into place. The
Oops,
2011 one
sorry.
has a
Little kid that
snap to lock
started
into
us.
place. Techie used to have a video of it on their website, but they didn't upload it to YouTube and they deleted it. Same with the 2010 Demonica. Techie Toys did a setup video of it, but they didn't. When they made their YouTube channel,
I
they
didn't
deleted
record
it.
over there yet.
Well, go
It
to play
sucks
then.
because I loved it. It was it was
But
before they
that
started
bone
acting
one,
professional.
that
It's when the
bone
guy
guy.
set him up.
Ah, I want him when he's on sales, when he's not $130.
Well, I don't know if that'll happen.
Whoa.
I always thought the hands looked different and that
Starlights.
it wasn't as
Okay,
tall as
go
the
get your
2011
brother
one
and
either.
Wait.
go. We gotta go to Team Racing.
But Grandma, that other one, I gotta wait for it to get set up.
Oh, it's almost ready, isn't it?
Ah! Yeah, it is. Oh, it broke!
See, that was the fourth activation. He was not moving at all. He was not activated
That
once
one's
before
broken. It doesn't go
that
up and
video.
down.
He was just brought out to that corner and he just broke right then and there. I think the employees thought I broke it because they probably didn't understand how it could have broke so fast. I didn't even show them the footage. I just was scared that I was going to get accused of breaking it because I was the only one in the area when it broke. So it sucks, but and one of the workers did kind of give me like a glare, but I mean, there's proof that I didn't break it. You know, in 2010, our store had a lot of defective, broken stuff. Our bite-sized clown's head was always broken. It's not supposed to be tilted down like that. It's supposed to be looking up. From day one, it was broken. The first bone collector they set up was also broken. When the head went back down, it would click, and it kind of shows that in the video, but not really. After I stopped recording, he fell off the counter, and his head wouldn't stop clicking at all after that happened. I came back the next time I went there, and it didn't do that anymore, and I thought they just fixed it, but there's no way they could have fixed that because it's all latex all the way around. You can't fix Bone Collector without making him look like complete shit. You can't. So they just set up another one. And also that baby that comes out of the shirt, the first one of that they set up was defective. It clicked. All it did was click. It didn't come all the way out. They set up another one of that. Like everything in 2010 was so like defective at our store. It was crazy.
Once you enter my house, you'll never get to leave.
Okay.
Wait.
Well, can we go?
See,
Oh.
Oh boy.
like I said, and it
Not
after
yet.
it fell off the table, it got so much worse.
Well, he has 3 phrases.
And then one of the worker that glared at me started setting up Caged Beast, and he still was glaring at me. He was like, it was uncomfortable. Oh yeah, and the Rising from the Grave Fog Corpse never worked. It never, even from day one, jumped all the way up. The screens were horrible in 2010, just absolutely horrible. And it's weird because I went in the store as a kid, and like the workers just couldn't believe how much info I knew about the animatronics. Because like when I said that the Bone Collector had 3 phrases, you couldn't see, but behind the camera, they just looked at each other like, how the fuck does this kid know this much about this stuff? Like, because I was there for probably like 4 hours. My videos are really short the first day I went, but I was there for like 4 hours, and I talked to the employees a lot, and they just could not believe how much I knew about the animatronics. Another thing that's weird about the Demonica is that some of them, they're all, like their heads move different. Like my very first one, its head didn't move very far to the sides. My second one moved a little bit more, but the head turning was also a little weaker. And then the recent one I have, its head turns so far to each side. It's weird. I'll show you a few examples of those too. Okay, so this is my very first 2010 Demonica, the one that didn't last very long. Like, actually, even when this video was filmed was already when she started to not work so well. I mean, it did in the video, but the thing is the batteries had to be fully charged, and she would work about 3 activations, and then after that, she wouldn't lift up all the way, and she would just sit there and make noise. That's it, because she was having that issue where the motor was dying out. So then I exchanged it. But anyways, the head turning on this one, like I said, its head didn't turn too much. And the one that Donovan has recently is exactly like this one, which is why I wanted to buy his, because it's just like this one. Its head moves exactly the same as this one. And then here's my second one. The biggest way you can tell them apart is that my very first one, I always kept the hair behind its head. As soon as I got my second one, I always left its hair in front of its face, to kind of let people know that it's not the same exact one. I think a lot of people just thought I put the hair in front, but no, I kept it like that for a reason. So, except the last month that my second Demonica worked in June or July, whenever it started giving out, I did put its hair behind its head, and it looked exactly like my first one when it was like that. But anyways, another thing that was really different about my second one is that when it rises all the way up, you know how the cable pulls the head back, it actually made the body slip back down a little bit. There came a point where I had to change the rubber belt because it was, like I said, it was starting to have that issue where it wouldn't rise up all the way. It would just sit there and light up, and it wouldn't, because like I said, that cable that lifts the head put so much strain on that motor that it just killed it very quickly. But actually, at first it was the belt, so I changed the belt, and once I did that, I think I also had to readjust the cable. I couldn't get it to do what it did when I first got it. Like I said, you'll see. See how it slipped back down a little bit there? I've never seen another Demonica that's like that either. And like I said, once I started changing the belt or changing the cable, I could never get it to work like that ever again. I don't know how it did that. And actually, when they do that, that's actually a good sign. That shows you how good the motor is, because it's actually lifting all the way up, but it's also like pulling back down. Because if the motor was weak, it wouldn't do that at all. It wouldn't even try to lift. That means that the cable was actually extremely tight on this one. That's why it's pulling back down. And there is no, it's either the cable's too tight or it's not tight enough, because if you have it not tight enough, the head's not going to lift all the way. And if you have it too tight, the head's going to lift before it gets all the way up, and it's not going to continue to move. That's just how the 2010 Demonica was. See, this one's head didn't move as strong as the first one. It was a little weaker, but you can't tell too much when it was new. It also, another thing about the 2010 Demonica is it does matter how soon it hits the relay switch. The sooner it rises up, the more it rises up and down. Like, actually, it goes down sooner. Like, it changes its pattern on when it rises. Like, the head of it always moves at the same times. But if the body, like, rises up within 5 seconds, it's going to change the timing on how it rises up and down. It's actually, like, that complicated. It's exactly the same way with the hovering ghost. The faster it rises up, the more it hovers, and the more it rises up and down. The newer version of the hovering ghost only rises up and down twice in the activation, whereas the old one, if you used a 7-volt adapter on it, it would rise up and down about 15-20 times. And they were way different. The older models of these animatronics were way different. Okay, in this video, this is my all of my Techie Toys Halloween props video. This is the last few days that the Demonica worked before everything started going haywire on it. Like, I even had mechanical issues with the gearbox that makes it rise. I started having issues with that during this time. I fixed it, and it would always have another issue very shortly. Actually, a wire came off for the relay switch when it goes back down. That didn't affect it. Well, that didn't affect it to where it wouldn't move, but it made it to where it killed the motor so that it never worked right. Like, the motor never had enough strength after that to lift the head up anymore. And this is also when it no longer, like, after it rose up, it would like pull back down a little bit, because this is when I replaced the belt and changed the length of the cable. There it is. And you'll notice the head barely moved anymore at this point. See, it looks just like my first one because the hair is behind the back.
This is all my Techie Toys props. I'm making a video of all of them.
I mean, it still moved, but it was getting, like, when I force moved the head with my hand, there was a bit of a loose connection. I guess it's not so bad in this video. Maybe it was later on that it started getting worse. I don't know. And here's my recent one. See, this one doesn't look like my first two at all. Like, even if the hair is behind the back of its head, it just doesn't look like my first ones at all. And look at how much more that head moves. I don't know what causes that, but it's so much different than my first two. And here's a video of one that rises up so fast, and you can see it changes the timing of when it goes up and down. That's another one that the head moves a lot on. And then this is the one that Donovan owns, which I'm, like I said, I'm going to be buying off of him. And this one does not have the issues my current one has. Actually, none of them has had the issues my current one has. And you know what's weird? What makes me not understand is that the base for my current one is actually from my second one, and my second one never had the issues that my current one has. And yet I've changed the motor, I've changed the resistors, I've changed everything that on the motor area that could possibly causing it to act the way it does, and it just never ever works right. And like I said, my past Demonica never had the issues that my current one does, so I don't know why my current one has the issues it has. It just, I can't figure it out. There's no way. That's why I say once they start having those issues, I don't know how you can stop it from happening, because it just makes no sense to me. But yeah, most of the time it's just if it doesn't rise up all the way, it not rising up all the way is causing it to not work. But there are quite a few of them. There's not so many 2010 videos anymore, store videos. There used to be back in the day, and a lot of them there was Demonicas that just wouldn't rise, and because of that, you know, again, the head wouldn't move. So it was a common issue, but I don't know if it was exactly the same as what mine has. I don't know if it's where if you like helped it or forced it, it would start working, or if it was maybe just a belt. It could have been. Anyways, here we go. See, it looks just like my older one. And its head moves exactly like my older one. In this video, she has the issue where she doesn't rise up all the way, but I push her head up, but I don't push it up right away. So if she was rising slow, this shows how her rising timing is different if she hits her relay switch later on in the activation. See how she struggled? It's all different, like it's out of order. Again, that's the same thing the old hovering ghost does. See how the eyes turn off way before she gets down? Usually she's supposed to get down right as the eyes turn off. Also, so anyways, this is a video of, you know, the demo video on Spirit's YouTube channel of Demonica, and it's just, this video is so nostalgic. Like, this is, I can tell this is a prototype because it is so high pitched. Like, there is no Demonica that's this high pitch. And Spirit Halloween Minnesota's channel, if you look at their 2010 video, you can tell it's the same one. Its head no longer turns in the video, which also leads to the discussion now. When you see the head turn on this one, you'll notice that it twitches. And some people might think that's the programming, but I think it's actually really a gear stripping out, because the way the head twitches, that looks like what a stripping gear would make the head do. And like I said, by the time, you know, it's in the Spirit Halloween Minnesota store display video, it's no longer moving its head. And then when Spirit Halloween makes a video of the cemetery theme on their channel, it's not moving at all anymore. So anyways, here we go. See how it twitches? I don't know. I love that pitch. It just seems more eerie and like scary to be that high pitch. And you know the one in Spirit Halloween Minnesota's video is the same one because it is the flagship store, and they're the ones that have all the prototypes out all the time, or they did. And it's the same pitch. Oh, I thought it was that way. In this video, you actually get to see. I'm talking about two more things: the older hovering ghost, and then I'm going to show you something about the rising from the graves that you might not have noticed over the years. They've changed a lot too, even though they're not making them anymore, but they changed them later on as well. I'll show you that later though. Anyways, this is the 2010 hovering ghost. In this video, you see that if it doesn't hit the relay switch, just like the Demonica, it doesn't continue to move. Also, this is my second Rising Reaper. My first one's audio was getting bad. Um, the wires for the light up pumpkin never worked. This is the first day I got it, my very first day of my second Rising Reaper, and the pumpkin never lit up because the wires were torn from the start. The 2010 Rising from the Grave Vampire was extremely slow. It was the worst one out of the series. They made it better in 2011. They gave them good springs that year, but in 2010, it jumped up so slow, it was terrible. That's why in 2000, that's why the Rising from the Grave Fog Corpse at our store never jumped up all the way. The springs were shit.
Oh, Dad.
Almost every night, but now I might be in the sleep.
Yeah. He's off. Huh? He's off. Can I turn him on? I don't know. This is dead. It's not moving. It's
See?
ghost. I need a cord for him now, too. Sit, dog, sit.
I guess it was somewhat fast the first day, but it didn't last that long
Sit.
being fast like that.
Sit. What?
And this video shows that when the hovering ghost moves the fat, like I said, the faster it moves, the more it moves. Same with, like I said, same with 2010 Demonica, but with the 2011 Demonica, they changed the hovering ghost in 2012. They changed its movement. It doesn't matter how fast the newer versions move. It's not going to change how they move. But the older models, you can clearly see. Look at it. What the? Also, this is the same hovering ghost you just saw, but this was the first I got it and using batteries. And you'll see that since it's moving slower, it changes how much it moves. And also, this is my second one because my first one I plugged in a 12 volt and it fried the sound to it. So I had a second hovering ghost too. And again, how you can tell, I always had the arms down on my first one. This one, I always had the arms up on it. And notice at the end how many times it does that loop of its moaning sound. It's weird. The newer model, they just make it do it once. It doesn't reset until the first time that does the moaning sound. You'll see. See? See how many times it does that loop over and over again? It does it until it fully resets. The newer version, it only does it once, and it's reset by the time that it finishes the first time it does that sound. And you know, there's the life-size hovering ghost. There's both versions. They made one in 2011 when it still had the old movement, and they made it again in 2012 when it had the newer movement. It's actually the same thing with the Guardian of the Grave as well. The sooner he rises up, the sooner he actually goes back down as well. Because he only after like he hits his relay switch, he only stays up for about like 8 seconds, and then he goes back down. Maybe less than that. If his relay switch doesn't get hit or it gets broken, it stays up until its soundtrack is complete. And it actually causes the fog function to not work if his relay switches don't work, because it doesn't blow fog until it hits the relay switch when it's all the way up. So if the relay switch doesn't work, the fog doesn't work. It, like I said, the Techie's old stuff, it had to be very specific. It had to rise all the way up for all the functions to work correctly. That all started to change after they fixed the 2011 Demonica. See, here's my first one. It was very quiet. Just like the Travis the Trout. It's the same adapter I used when I fried my Travis the Trout. And so, this is the final video I'm going to show you of the hovering ghost, and this is the newer model. This is how they've been ever since 2011, and they're still making the hovering ghost to this current day. It's really hard to find the original models with the old movement, and I'm trying to find either parts to fix my old one because it stopped hovering, or just find a new one in general. See, it's a lot different already, you can tell. The old one doesn't rise and sway at the same time. It rises and then, like I said, the relay switch. This one doesn't have to have the relay switch to work. See? And it only rises up and down twice. Oh my god, why is my... See? It only does that soundtrack once. Like I said, the older model just keeps looping and looping it until it finally fully resets. The last discussion for this video is the Rising from the Graves. What's different is, you know, okay, the Rising from the Graves started in 2007 with the Corpse and the Reaper, and they stopped selling those two models in 2010, I believe. And back then they used to go back down really slow, but in 2011 they went down a little bit faster, but in 2015 they go back down so fast, it's so different. And again, I'll show you. And that's what fresh batteries. So that's as fast as those go. Here's a good video that shows them. These are all older models. The Corpse and the Reaper were from 2009 at Menards. They also don't even have an adapter jack, the 2009 models. The Small Reaper was Target 2009, and then the Vampire and Zombie that I own are the 2010 models. I never got any newer ones after that. I have the 2015 Reaper, and I'll show you that's where they changed it. See how slow the vampire jumps up? That's about as fast as they were in 2010. It was terrible. See? They all go down super slow. And that's still with fresh batteries. It didn't matter how the batteries were. They wouldn't go down very fast. So basically, pre-2011 models, the ones that were made before 2011, they basically don't start going down until after they laugh. Here's the 2011 model. They don't click as loud when they pop up either. The older ones were really loud when they popped up. See? It starts going down when it laughs. And it's all the way down by the time it laughs for the second time. Whereas in 2015, they changed it in 2012, but they actually are down by the time it does the first laugh. And you'll see that now. And you'll see from this one. This is the last model of the vampire made. See? Look at how fast that goes back down. And here's the Reaper, the small Reaper. See it?
And the funny thing is that
And you just saw my 2009 version. Again, the 2009 one. They were also a lot higher pitch back then too. In 2010 is when they started making them low pitch. So look at how slow it goes back down.
Sound.
Also, the old Rising from the Graves didn't even have a step pad function. Like, those are 2009 models. The one I got from the Corpse and Reaper, I got them from Menards 2009, and they are 2009 models. And Spirit sold the Reaper in 2009, and their version, I believe, does have the step pad and adapter. Maybe I'm wrong, but mine don't have neither of those functions. This is how they were when their batteries were low. When the Vampire's batteries are low, they don't even jump up. Look at how much worse that is with low batteries. Also, if the relay switch never gets hit, it doesn't matter which model it is, it never stops doing the laughing, ever. It will continue to laugh until you unplug it or turn it off. It will never, ever stop. That was Spirit's demo video of the zombie.
Key sound or footpad activated. You know, the 2009 ones, they also changed the pole structure several times over the years, not just once. Like the 2009 models had like black poles and they had so many like grooves on the poles. It was just they snap. That's why they snapped so easily. There were so many places that could snap at because there were so many parts just molded together. And mine lasted years before they broke. It's weird, like how they lasted. Because in 2007, they were even worse. There were people who said the pole and gears broke literally within 3 activations. That's how bad they were, like older years. Like 2009 was an improvement, but they made the poles even better later on because they changed the poles to white, and then there's not as much molding together. There's a huge difference with how the pole was designed. I think even in 2010, the pole design is a little bit different. Like you can use a 2015 pole on a 2009 and it'll still work, but it's just the way the pole looks all the way around is so different. Yeah, and my corpse is actually extremely staticky sounding, even if the batteries are good. It's weird. And this is the final clip for this video. I'm sorry it got so long. Again, it wasn't planned to be this long, but it did. This is another video. I forgot to show this earlier. This is another video where Demonica doesn't rise, but her head is moving. And it's also with the fog corpse where it doesn't jump up all the way. What?
It's on one of those. The batteries might be.
The Guardian of the Grave wasn't working. Oh, that's another thing. I also, in 2010, got, my second Guardian of the Grave was technically my third because
again, in my first Guardian of the Grave, the sound started to stop working. So then I got a replacement. My replacement didn't work at all. Not once. Nothing. It didn't do anything. I tried everything. I tried batteries. I tried the adapter. I tried the step pad. I tried sensor. Nothing worked. I returned it and got another one. And then that's the one that I've had for a long time. And then I got another one in 2012. And that one's base fried on Halloween when I plugged in the fog machine to it. And now Lucas has one. And the one I currently still have that's working is the bass from my 2009 one, the one where the audio doesn't always work. This one on display I never saw working, so I don't know if this one had an issue too. There was just something wrong with 2010, guys.
It's the battery, Jordan.
And then the fog goes off. That's probably just the batteries.
And also, this guy was so nice. He always talked to me every time I came in. It was awesome. I worked with him in 2012 actually, but after that he moved away and I never saw him ever again. I wish I could find him on Facebook because he was such a nice, cool guy. He came to my Halloween garage display in 2011 and 12. Oh yeah, he was at one of my Halloween parties in 2012, and he came in 2011 when we were taking everything down. See, the springs were bad. It never jumped up all the way.
This the first day we came. It hasn't been staying up.
Yeah, since like the very first day. Now it's not even wanting to go up.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, we tried fixing them, but then it gets too expensive for us taking them apart and then putting up new ones, and we start losing stock.
Yeah.
So we just try keeping them up as long as we can. Like her eye has been
I know,
out forever.
and she's not moving up and down.
Yeah.
Too.
Which we also. I'm not even going to fix it right now.
Oh.
But no, it was actually, I believe it was one that you guys brought in. 'Cause you had one of those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and all we had is, like, a couple of screws fell out of the motor part. So all we did was twist tie it, and now it works perfectly fine.
Really?
Yep. Like, we just twist tied the motor up. Put here.
On the one we returned?
Yep. See, a lot of these, like, you can just fix with a lot of just easy. You want to step on her?
Sure. Now she's supposed to be rising.
But no, a lot of stuff in here, a lot of the animatronics just be fixed with a lot of just house.
One other thing I want to mention, I know I said it was going to be done after this, the Evil Cauldron Witch in Spirit Halloween Minnesota's videos, Spirit Halloween Minnesota, I can tell that one's a prototype because just look, you can see this right here, look at her eyes, like, they don't look like they have, like, any, like, drawing, like, you know how the produced one looks, you can see the eyes, her skin, or green color looks a lot lighter, but even in the dark, on the produced Evil Cauldron Witch, you can see the eyes, even when they're lighting up. This one you can't see, they're just red LEDs. That's what it looks like. It looks like Demonica's eyes, basically. There's no video, like, Spirit Halloween's demo video of her and Spirit Halloween Minnesota, which is the same location, the flagship location, you cannot see her eyes. They just light up, they just look like red bulbs. That's what Demonica has for eyes, and that looks to me like what the Evil Cauldron Witch prototype has, because I can't see that she has actual eyes like the produced model. It's weird. Anyways, and this video here is so special to me. This video right here is literally my first experience with Spirit Halloween. Mine was set up exactly the same way. You saw it in the beginning of this video. It's just crazy.
Also, the faces on these two look kind of deformed, especially the one on the right that doesn't make sound. The one that makes sound actually doesn't really work. The guy has two videos, and it doesn't move unless he helps push it up, because it has that problem where the motor's too weak to lift the head. In this video, he did it, but he lifted the head before he started the video. That's why it's moving here, but in the other video, it's just sitting there not doing anything. Yeah, here's the other video that shows that. See? See? Oh, and he stopped it, but if he didn't stop it, it would have showed that it would have started moving because he helped it. Also, the 2010 models of the Rising from the Graves, when their batteries were low, they wouldn't jump up until they start doing the laugh, because that's when the motor starts moving to bring them back down. So yeah, this is the first
Here's all
day.
the new stuff
This is the first day I got it, and you can see it.
I got. That. It's not popping up that good in that rat.
See?
He's scared. Okay. This one doesn't have any lights. There's the rat. I know, it was so fun for me.
Oh my god!
Got one track on the page. It's like Sheldon's crib. Are you serious?
I've always been fascinated with how much fog that one blew, because usually they don't blow that much fog. This one's like the jumping spider that we had in 2012 and 13. The audio is messed up. Okay, I don't know if it heard me. It paused. But this is like our jumping spider we had in 2012 and 13. Its audio is messed up. See, they all jumped up slow. This video was made in 2007, so this is a 2007 model. Oops. See? Look at the date. In one of the Spirit Halloween 2007 videos, you can actually see the Rising from the Grave Reaper laying on the floor. It's the one where the kid is pressing the button for Jason and Dawn of the Dead. Oh.
Okay, go.
This one's 2008. The 2011 Jumping Spider was still so much better and different. My old one of that. Alright guys, I'm done. Goodbye.